It's the second round of the Blancpain GT Sports Club coming to you live from here in Brands Hatch down in Kent. It's the qualifying race that's coming up, 25 minutes of action that will see the grid decided for the main race. And what a beautiful day it is. Just look at it, absolutely glorious sunshine here, and you couldn't ask for a more perfect May day. It's 26 degrees and it's not even 11 o'clock in the morning. Track temperature up at 33 degrees, a beautiful crisp clear day as these cars make their way around the circuit. Everybody taking the opportunity to get a good vantage point over what will no doubt be an entertaining race ahead of their main race later on. We've also got the two Blancpain GT races coming up as well today. They are in for a treat here at Brands Hatch. Here is how the point stands at the moment. Mario Cordoni, after winning the main race in Misano, is leading the championship. Nicola Mislan is alongside him at the top, but he and Pier Giuseppe Perezzini not racing this weekend, which means it's down to the likes of Martin Langting and Nicolas van Dierendonck to try and close in on Mario Cordoni. But Cordoni didn't actually have a very good qualifying session. He's going to be starting well down the order in 10th place on the grid, so there's an awful lot of opportunity for this championship order to change. Maybe not so much over the next 25 minutes because there's only 8 points on offer for victory, but certainly over the next, the remainder of the day. The Union flags out in force then, ahead of what will be an absolutely entertaining spectacle. There's no doubt about that, because the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit here in the United Kingdom always provides us with some entertaining racing. Of that you can always be assured. And sandwich, it's a bit early for a sandwich, son, isn't it? But if you've got a spare one, I'd love it. I'm getting pretty hungry up here already, and we haven't even had the racing kick off. Here are the cars lining up on the grid on the left-hand side. As you look at it, is the Kessel Racing Ferrari of Michał Broniszewski, and Broniszewski in his Kessel Racing 458 GTE car, the Polish driver, 2009 GT Open champion in that black and red Ferrari on the left-hand side. He is the man lining up on a pole position. Alongside him on the front row is that Celislac Corvette of Nicolas van Dierendonck, but there is the 11 car in first position, Michał Broniszewski, who's got an incredible 4 races today because he's competing in the Blancpain GT series as well. And Broniszewski, unfortunately for him, couldn't actually take part in the races in Misano. He was there, ready to take part, but the car let him down, if I recall correctly, and as a result couldn't enter either of the 2 races, which was a real shame for Broniszewski. Now he's looking to get that championship challenge back on track by starting from pole position. Alongside him on the front row is that Celislac Corvette, a beautiful looking blue and white car, and that is in the hands of Nicolas van Dierendonck, the Belgian who was second last year in the Dutch Supercar Challenge, third as well in the championship in the Benelux Porsche GT3 Cup as well. So a lot of racing experience over the last few years for Nicolas van Dierendonck, and he's going to be starting second in that Corvette. The Celislac Racing team doing an excellent job putting that machine together, and still always an excitement when you see a Corvette out there. Third on the grid then, Martin Langting. Really good qualifying performance from him. He is 4th in the championship standings on the moment with 12 points, which means he finished 4th in the opening main race in Misano. Didn't get any points in the qualifying race, did Martin Langting, but he is the defending Iron Cup champion. The Iron Cup is for drivers aged 60 or over. All of these drivers are ranked bronze in the FIA driver categorizations. There's Patrick Van Klabaker's 488. And that new Ferrari being run by AF Corsa. Just having some last-minute words of advice there. The Belgian driver who started his career in the Porsche GT3 Cup Benelux. Picked up 1 podium last season, did Patrick Van Klabaker. And it sounds like a lot of the advice is regarding a safe positions. I think they're saying just take it steady on this opening lap as 19 GT3 cars hurtle down into Paddock Hill Bend. Hello, good morning, hope you're all well. And what a fantastic vantage point it is. In fact, if I'm quiet, all you can hear is the birds. Beautiful, calm, serene day, about to be interrupted by 19 V8s and V10s hurtling around this Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. Ironically, I need to look this up, but I'm pretty sure, as we see Coach McKenzie there in the 17 car in 7th place on the grid in that very striking looking Harry Prochik Racing Lamborghini. this grid is probably bigger than the Blancpain GT grid of last year. This year, the Blancpain GT grid is 37 cars, but this is 19 cars, which is probably around the same size. Jan Brunstedt in the 98 car. He's going to be starting in 6th place on the grid for the JB Motorsport team. The Swedish driver who raced in Swedish Formula 3 back in the 1970s, and then sort of left racing and was subsequently returned. Swedish GT champion in 2013, Jan Brunstedt. Now, there is a gap alongside Brunstedt where the Acker ASP Mercedes should be of Anthony Pons, so I do fear we may have lost him. There's Alexis de Bernardi, the Dutch racer, in the 65 Kessel Ferrari 458 GT3. This is his first step out of the Ferrari Challenge, where he's been racing over the last couple of years. But I'm just looking in the pit lane for the Acker ASP Mercedes of Anthony Pons. It doesn't look like it's there, unfortunately. I think we have got Claude-Yves Gozlan in the pits as well. Can't quite make out what number that Audi is that's sitting in the pit lane. We've got one on the grid, which is going to be the Sainteloc Audi of Pierre Feligioni. But I think the other one of Claude-Yves Gozlan is in the pits. We've got a Ferrari pulling into the pits as well. So, and that's not Anthony Pons because, oh yes, it is Anthony Pons, yes. So there is Anthony Pons in the Acker ASP Ferrari. My apologies, that's what has got me a little bit confused, because he's in the Ferrari rather than the Mercedes. But yes, Anthony Pons in the pits, as is Claude-Yves Gozlan at the start of this race. So we're only going to have 18 cars hurtling their way down towards Paddock Hill Bend, and hopefully the other two will join from the pit lane as the formation lap begins and the cars wind their way around this superb circuit. And we've got, well, there's the Teddy Bear Marshall, which is a very well-known sight here at Brands Hatch, accompanying the Marshalls. Where's that? Up at Stirling's, I think, as the cars now make their way around. So yes, at the exit of the pits, we have the number 5 car of Claude-Yves Gozlan, who didn't take part in qualifying yesterday. So that means we have actually got 20 cars about to take to the grid. That's excellent news, a really healthy entry for the GT Sports Club, as they accelerate down the Cooper Straight up through the left-hander of Surtees, and that takes them out into the woods, into the Grand Prix circuit. Anthony Pons' Ferrari is still being worked on in the pits meanwhile, so hopefully they'll be ready to get that out. Claude-Yves Gozlan is all set and ready to go. And there at the back of the field is the 54 car of Michael Luzic, who usually has a little bit more pace than that does Michael Luzic, but hasn't been able to find it in qualifying here at the admittedly daunting Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. A lot of these drivers have raced at, Paul Ricard and Misano, for example, where there's acres of runoff area. This is a very different beast. A track that's really old school and really punishes any kind of driver error. As the cars drop down through Stirling's, and then they'll start to line up in their 2x2 formation. Oh, there is the bear, look, he is down at Stirling, so great vantage point for him, because you tend to get a lot of action at Stirling's. It could be a very busy day for that little bear. The Marshall's waving the green flag as the cars come now underneath the bridge and line up in 2x2 formation. They're picked up behind the safety car. The safety car will peel in, and then the racing will get underway. It's Broniszewski on pole, Van Dierendonck alongside him, Lanting and Van Klabacher on row 2, Jan Brunstedt all alone on row 3, Coach McKenzie and Karim Oje on row 4, De Bernardi and Mario Cordoni, the championship leader, completing the top 10. The cars wait for the lights to go out. When they do, the throttles will be pushed, and the 25-minute qualifying race will be go down towards turn 1, and it is a good start from Broniszewski as they dive into Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Through the right-hander, Broniszewski leads, and up into second place there has gone Martin Lanting. So Lanting gets past Van Dierendonck. Patrick Van Klabacher is trying to get past as well, and he has. So Van Dierendonck drops from second down to fourth. Karim Oj trying to go around the outside there at Druids. We're all safely through the first two corners, but the race leader is Mikhail Broniszewski. Second is Lanting, third is Van Klaverke, fourth is Van Dierendonck. Coach McKenzie getting pushed wide and loses out of place to Mario Cordoni in that blue and yellow Ferrari 458. Leaders already through Surtees and out towards Pilgrim's Drop for the first time. Coach McKenzie getting left out to dry on the outside of that left-hander, and he's now going to be under pressure from the Saint-Deloc Audi of Pierre Feligioni, who's made a very good start from the back of the grid. He's already made up a number of places. Swinging into the right-hander. It's, sorry, that's Gilles Lallemont, isn't it, who has made up those places. So Gilles Lallemont is the man making that move, but there you can see the order down there, and Nicolas Van Dierendonck is very frustrated with that poor start. He's going to be trying to get back up the order as quickly as possible. Up through the right-hander, that's the 111 car of Steve Earle in the Kessel Ferrari. Jean-Michel Bart in the number 12 car there, exits through Sterlings for the WRT Audi team as they come around to complete the end of the first lap, and Mikhail Broniszewski has made a very good gap of it up at the front. He comes across the line, and the gap back to the second place man of Martin Lanting is 1.3 seconds. Then Van Klaverke, then Van Dierendonck, then Jan Brunstedt, Karim Oj in 6th. Cordoni has gone from 10th up to 7th. Coach McKenzie is down to 8th. It's 9th place for Lallemont, and completing the top 10 at the end of that first lap is Alexis de Bernardi. So frantic opening lap, but not so much for Mikhail Broniszewski, who is romping clear at the moment. A little bit wide there for Van Klaverke, and Karim Oj is starting to have a bit of a queue forming behind him. Coach McKenzie in that green leopard print, I suppose you'd call it, Harry Procek Racing Lamborghini entry, is right up behind Mario Cordoni, who in turn is right up behind the Boots and Gignon BMW M6 of Karim Oj. Oj has been racing Boots and Gignon cars for a little while now, but this is the first season for the new M6. Jean-Michel Bart is putting Alexis de Bernardi under a lot of pressure. But look at this battle for third place. Nicolas Van Dierendonck coming through the final corner at Surtees, tucked right underneath the rear wing of the Ferrari in front of him. But Patrick Van Klaverke has a decent run over the start-finish line and down into Paddock Hill Bend. So Van Dierendonck quicker in the first sector than Van Klaverke by 0.6 of a second on that previous lap, and he's really strong through Paddock Hill Bend, not quite close enough into Druids to make the move on that 488 car of Patrick Van Klaverke. Now they start to drop down the hill into Graham Hill Bend, the 90-degree left-hander. Got to be careful there with track limits as they come now up towards Surtees. So there's the leader, then wide again goes Van Klaverke. Then there's Jan Brunstedt kind of by himself. Then there's this really tight battle, and Karim Oj is only just in front of Mario Cordoni. This is the battle over 6th place. His long queue of cars makes its way down Pilgrim's Drop, underneath the Johnny Herbert Bridge, and up into Hawthorne Bend. That last lap, Mikhail Broniszewski set the fastest lap of the race, and he's extended his lead to 2.6 seconds over Martin Lanting. The car's getting a little bit twitchy as they come through Surtees now to complete another lap. Van Dierendonck up the inside into Surtees. Goodness me, that was a brave move from Van Dierendonck, but he wasn't close enough, and as a result, he's lost a little bit of ground, but we know he's strong down through Paddock Hill Bend. So can Van Dierendonck in that blue and white Sellers Lap Corvette make any progress? Also under pressure now is the Lamborghini. Gilles Lallemont right up behind Coach McKenzie as they battle over 8th position. Jean-Michel Bart still trying to put the move on Alexis de Bernardi there, and de Bernardi covers it off in the 65 car. Here's a replay of the start. Watch Van Dierendonck in that blue and white Corvette. A reasonable getaway, but coming to Paddock Hill Bend, oh, so he got held up, I think, by Broniszewski. So if you watch this, Broniszewski brakes pretty early, and the Corvette comes in behind and gets sort of held up by Broniszewski, as up the inside goes Lanting and forces his way through. That means Van Donk is offline, almost pushed out into the gravel, and that means it's an open door for Patrick van Glabeke to come through that fight as well. Michael Luzic has made it up to 18th position meanwhile, past Claude-Yves Gauzelin. So there's 5th, there's 6th, and Karim Ojeh has managed to steady the ship somewhat. Karim Ojeh, in fact, has set the fastest first sector of anyone on that previous tour, but fastest man on track comfortably, Mikhail Broniszewski across the line to set the fastest lap of the race. And there's the gap back to second place, up to 4.5 seconds now. And how frustrating is this for that man there, Nicolas van Donk, who knows he has more pace than this, but he wants the ability to be able to show it. Only 18.5 minutes to go. You can see the order down the bottom there. Willem de Pundert is not having the best day, down in 16th place. That's a surprise because he's usually a lot quicker than that. And Jean-Michel Bart is still running in 11th place, even though that car has been through the gravel trap at turn 7 and continued. So we'll see how far behind Jean-Michel Bart is. It's down to 1.8 seconds. Yeah, he lost a lot of time on that last lap. Oh, and there's the replay of it. Wow. Did well to rescue that, did Jean-Michel Bart. And that's why he's dropped off just a little bit from the cars in front of him. Out onto the run down towards Surtees. Van Donk has fancied a move here in the past, doesn't fancy it this time around, instead decides to slot in behind the 3rd place Ferrari of Patrick van Glabeke. Down towards Paddock Hill Bend. Looks as though the Ferrari has the legs in a straight line. Van Donk super late on the brakes. He'll try and take more speed through the corner. That's a very good run from Van Donk. He's got up the inside of Van Glabeke. Van Glabeke moves over. Oh, and he goes for the apex, but he goes in too hot. Is that going to allow Van Donk up the inside? Yes, it is. And oh, Van Glabeke's on the grass. He holds it just about. Great racing there. Great work from Van Donk to set up Van Glabeke like that. And he is now up into 3rd spot. Nicolas van Donk. Van Glabeke drops down to 4th. And now he will set his sights on Martin Lanting, the Ferrari in front. Here's a look at the replay. And there you can see Van Glabeke just getting on the grass, back end stepping away. Good save. Good save from Van Glabeke. Mikhail Broniszewski is leading. Then in 2nd place is Martin Lanting there in that red Ferrari. 3rd place is the Celizac Corvette. Karim Ojeh is now closing in on Jan Brunstedt in the battle for 5th place. Gordoni, championship leader, lurking there in 7th position. Then it's Coach McKenzie. Then it's Lallemand. Jean-Michel Bart is still in 11th place despite having had that run through the gravel trap here on a couple of laps ago. "16 minutes left. Here's the battle for 2nd. Martin Lanting, the Iron Cup champion of last year, the man leading the Iron Cup standings at the moment. And Karim Ojeh has really now got that BMW M6 of Boots and Gignon working nicely. Right on the back of Jan Brunstedt for 5th place. Going up the inside, not close enough. Nose to tail on the run down to Graham Hill Bend. And this fight is allowing Mario Cordoni in that blue, white and yellow car to come with him. Look how quickly Ojeh's been catching. 0.8 of a second, 1.3 seconds, then 0.3 of a second over the last couple of laps. And here's the 2nd place battle again. Lanting versus Van Donk. Up through Dingle-Dell. Van Donk through Dingle-Dell. It's a fun one. As he now exits on the run down towards Surtees. This is where we know in this sort of final sequence of corners and first couple of corners of the next lap, Van Donk is very strong. Across the line into Paddock Hill Bend. And look at that. Lanting knows it and he's having to go a little bit defensive. Van Donk's got a very good run out the corner. Not going to be close enough though. But this is good work from Van Donk. He's got Lanting on the back foot already, defending just a little bit, going into every corner. Meanwhile, this is Karim Ojé through past Jan Brunstedt. So Karim Ojé has got up into 5th place, running really wide there, Van Donk. That's on the exit of Graham Hill Bend. And is that going to put him under pressure as they come into the left-hander? Through goes Lanting. There's a move there from Anthony Pons as well. And there, through goes Van Klabbeke. He does get past. So Van Klabbeke gets back past Van Donk after Van Donk had done all that work. One mistake at Graham Hill Bend, lost the momentum. And we saw Anthony Pons going past Jean-Paul Bouffin very briefly there at Druids. That's in their battle over 14th place. So now Van Donk's got all the work to do again. We'll see how much time he lost on this last lap, but it's going to be sort of 5 seconds or so, I would have thought, considering he was right on the back of Martin Lanting on the previous tour. Mikhail Broniszewski still leading this race. 13 minutes to go. Van Donk has got a very good run out of clearways. Onto the brakes into Paddock Hill Bend. Oh, he's so good through there, Van Donk. And now he'll look towards the inside line. This is exactly what played out last time, and Van Klabbeke was too late on the brakes. He's learned from his mistakes, though, and gets it really hooked up neatly, going through Druids that time, down into Graham Hill Bend. Oh, and there is Jan Brunstedt going with Mario Cordoni, and Brunstedt holds the place for the time being. Oh, goes for it again into Graham Hill Bend. That was a risky one. Doesn't quite work out. Cordoni desperate to get past and have a good starting position for the main race later on today. But Van Donk is right with Van Klabbeke. Much more speed through Hawthorne. Karim Ojé is 3.7 seconds off the back of this queue, so he's not going to be joining the fray unless these two get really fighty. Oh, and Jean-Michel Bart's in the pits. The WRT Audi returns to the pit lane after a good run. He was running as high as 11th place, Jean-Michel Bart. Now, both of these two, and whoa, there was the move from Cordoni up the inside into Druids. A little bit of a squeeze possibly from Brunstedt, pushing him onto the grass. And now Cordoni is right with Brunstedt again. Van Donk set the fastest final sector of anyone on that previous lap. He's right up the back, but not making a move yet. This is Mario Cordoni, meanwhile. Will he try the same move on Jan Brunstedt for 6th place that he did the last time through? He thinks about it. Oh, he's going to hit him there. Well, somehow they've got away without actually hitting each other. Of course they did, and there's a bit of damage there, but it didn't seem to send Jan Brunstedt flying. I really thought Brunstedt was going to get punted off the road there up at Druids, but not to be. Cordoni still hasn't made the pass. And Brunstedt has got a slightly remodelled left rear. You can see Cordoni thought about it, and at the last minute decided to get out of it and just clipped the rear bodywork of that JB Motorsport Audi. Great battles throughout the order here, and this is Anthony Pons continuing his charge. He qualified in 5th place, but had to start from the pit lane in that white and red Ferrari. And he's now made his way up into 12th place. He's passed Steve Earle. And now he's up behind Leon Price in the Dragon Racing Ferrari. And this, once again, is Nicolas Van Donk. Mikhail Broniszewski's gone, by the way, folks. He's done. He's checked out. His last lap at 27.262, fastest lap of the race. His lead is up to 14 seconds now, but then we've got 1 second covering 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Lanting, Van Klabbeke and Van Donk. And Lanting knows it because he's going very defensive very early, going into Druids, even though really Van Klabbeke wasn't quite close enough to make the move. We've got less than 10 minutes to go. The fans here at Brands Hatch enjoying the action they're seeing from the GT Sports Club. But this is only a whistle wetter ahead of the main Blancpain GT race we've got coming up in just a moment, really. Only 45 minutes till that race starts, but the focus here is on the Blancpain GT Sports Club qualifying race. Look how much speed Van Dierendonck takes through Hawthorn. Lanting, Van Klabbeke, Van Dierendonck in that order, exiting Westfield Bend and dropping down the hill towards Dingle-Dell. Where can Van Dierendonck try and make this move in that Sellerslach Corvette? He is so close to the back. Is he going to fancy a look coming down into Surtees? Van Klabbeke will defend it. No, he won't. Not close enough. Through Clearways, then into Clark Curve, and then across the line. And Van Dierendonck actually has lost a little bit of ground there. Coming through that final corner, got out of shape at Clearways, and that compromised his run. Broniszewski pulling away by about a second a lap at the moment up at the front. Karim Oj is dropping back from this pack, so he's all by himself now in 5th place. Brunstedt and Cordoni still nose to tail in their battle over 6th and 7th. Coach McKenzie is in 8th. Alexis de Bernardi is 9th, and completing the top 10 is Gilles Lallemand for the Santalok Racing Team. Now Van Klabbeke's feeling racy, trying to get past Martin Lanting. The two AF Corsa Ferraris nose to tail. One a 458, one a 488, and one a Corvette. And there is Karim Oj then in 5th position. And then we wait. Well, we don't, because we would have been waiting for too long for Jan Brunstedt. There is Brunstedt with Mario Cordoni still right up behind him. 6.5 seconds back from Karim Oj. And really twitching around all over the place. Cordoni must try and find a way to get through. He's gone on the grass. Is that going to put him under pressure from Coach McKenzie coming down into Stirling's? Brunstedt goes through, but where is Coach McKenzie? Not close enough to capitalise on that mistake from Cordoni. And now Cordoni has dropped off the back. Still that 2nd, 3rd and 4th place queue, nothing happening at the moment, but with them, that's why we're focusing on the Cordoni battle. 7th for Cordoni, 8th for Coach McKenzie, 9th for Alexis de Bernardi. Here is the 2nd, 3rd, 4th place battle. 6.5 minutes to go. Mikhail Broniszewski is leading this by 14.5 seconds now. His last lap actually was pretty slow. He lost a couple of seconds on that last lap, Broniszewski. But he's still got a comfortable margin up at the front. 2nd is Martin Lanting, leading the Iron Cup class. 3rd is Patrick Van Klabbeke. 4th is Van Dierendonck. Down and then up on this roller coaster of a Brands Hatch circuit. 6 minutes left. Van Dierendonck did the hard work of getting past Patrick Van Klabbeke, but then made a mistake on the exit of Graham Hill Bend, and that's what has cost him and why Van Klabbeke is now back in front. Through through Clearways, apologies. This, meanwhile, is Michael Luzic, who's running in 18th place. And right up behind him is Pierre Feligioni, who is in 19th. Those two covered by just 0.6 of a second. Van Dierendonck close again. And the key thing about those two is that they're going to become traffic in just a couple of corners' time to this 2nd, 3rd and 4th place battle. There you can see the gaps that Van Dierendonck, look how close he is now coming down through Pilgrim's Drop. This is going to be a brave place for Van Dierendonck. Goodness me. Van Klabbeke moved across as they were on that straight part. I thought for a moment there was going to be a touch between them. Now the blue flags are waving. Are the backmarkers going to get out of the way? They're in their own little battle and they haven't done so far. That could be the opportunity for these guys. It's Feligioni in that. Oh, and they've hit each other. Off goes Lanting into the gravel trap from second place. He's going to be absolutely furious with that. Van Dierendonck then promoted to third. Van Klabaker promoted to second. And Martin Lanting may well be out of this qualifying race. The man who was leading the Iron Cup class. Oh, Van Dierendonck getting twitchy on the exit of Clearways. But as they come across the line then, Broniszewski leads, Van Klabaker is second, Van Dierendonck is third. Michael Luzic gets out of their way now. Oh, Van Dierendonck all over the shop again, going into Paddock Hill Bend. Keeps it together though. Pushing that Corvette right to its limits. So here's a look at the replay. And Lanting looking to the outside, and I think he's just caught out by how early the 6 Audi brakes. And Lanting is in the gravel. And Lanting is out of the race. Well, real frustration for Lanting. Back we go to what is now the battle for 5th place. Jan Brunstedt in the JB Motorsport Audi, under a lot of pressure from Mario Cordoni, as he has been for a number of laps now. 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Here is our race leader. Mikhail Broniszewski is now some 20 seconds clear of the rest of the pack. A commanding drive from Broniszewski. These will be his first championship points if he continues to take the victory here. This is Patrick Van Klabaker in second place then. Only picked up 1 podium last season, did Patrick Van Klabaker, but looks as though he's going to grab another one here, and off goes Van Dierendonck skating through the gravel at Paddock Hill Bend. Is he going to lose out to OJ? Yes, he is. Through goes Karim OJ, up into third position now. And these are just the back markers that are up behind Van Dierendonck, but that is a mucky Corvette now. A lot of cleaning required, but he's looked out of shape for these last couple of laps, whether the tyres are getting away from him. But that man there, Karim OJ, is now up into third place. And there is Martin Lanting, out of the race, out of the car, trudging his way through the gravel trap and to safety behind the barriers. Real frustration, and Cordoni's made it. Cordoni has made it. Mario Cordoni has got through and up into 5th position past Brunstedt, and Brunstedt is now under pressure from coach McKenzie, who in turn is under pressure from Alexis de Bernardi. So that must have been down at Clearways that move got made. Cordoni now will disappear, and that is good news for him in terms of grid position for the main race. This is our championship leader, Mario Cordoni. And he's finally managed to force his way through into 5th spot. Through the right-hander they come. Meanwhile, Mikhail Broniszewski may well be on his final lap of the race. It's going to be a tight one, actually. There he is, coming up towards the dip at Pilgrim's Drop, and then up the other side and into Hawthorns. What a performance this has been from Mikhail Broniszewski. Second in the Blancpain Endurance Series Pro-Am Championship last year. Still pushing all the way, isn't he? Running right out to the exit of the curbs at Westfield Bend. As he comes down through the left-hander, this is going to be super tight. The man with the checker flag doesn't look like he's ready at the moment. I think Broniszewski is just about going to make it through to start one more lap. In fact, this is going to be crazy tight. Here he comes now. No, the checker flag is being readied, and Broniszewski is slowed down. He can't be bothered to do another lap. If he's going to win it, he wants to win it now, and Broniszewski does. Victory in the qualifying race for him. Superb performance, and Cordoni's off. Cordoni's off at Clearways. After such a strong drive, the championship leader will be starting the main race from well down the order. Here comes Patrick van Klabbeke. It's going to be second across the line for the Belgian. Third across the line for Karim Oj. Good drive from him in the BMW M6. Looked like he wasn't getting up to speed in the early stages, but then got into it. Van Dierendonck across the line in fourth place. He's given us plenty of entertainment today. So that means Jan Brunstedt is going to be fifth. Here he comes in the JB Motorsport Audi. Fifth position and wins Iron Cup because Martin Lankiting got stuck in the gravel trap. So Brunstedt wins the Iron Cup. Alexis De Bernardi up into sixth place. He got past Coach McKenzie in those final few laps. Goodness me, well, what a busy race in the GT Sports Club qualifying race here at Brands Hatch. There is Mario Cordoni, the man we're used to seeing on the top step of the podium, listening to the Italian national anthem. But now he's in the gravel trap, listening to the sounds of his car. Oh, it was all him. Very strange. Just understeered off, coming into clearways. You don't see that very often. But he's got himself beached on the final lap of the race. Well, it's a lovely day to be at the beach, but not the way that Mario Cordoni would have wanted to visit. He'd rather be on the shores of the Adriatic than in a gravel trap in Brands Hatch. And the same is true of Martin Lanting, another man to end up in the gravel. The crane coming to pick the car up, and the Monegasque driver out of the race. And Cordoni then classified 16th. He'll start there on the grid. 19th will be Martin Lanting. Goodness me, what a race that was. If that was the qualifying race, the main race is going to be absolutely superb, especially with Lanting and Cordoni starting that far back. And oh, Cordoni devastated. Absolutely devastated, Mario Cordoni. There's Patrick van Klabbeke. I think these guys are a bit warm. Tough conditions out there. And Van Klabbeke finishing in second position. Goes over to congratulate our race winner, Mikhail Broniszewski. And there's Karim Oj, a third place for him. Really strong performance from the Boots and Gignon BMW as the AF Corsa car gets ready to be towed out of the gravel trap and then make its way back around again. As the tunes of Prince ring out around Brands Hatch, we can hear from our race winner, Mikhail Broniszewski. A superb performance from him. He is down in the pits talking to Dakota Jane.
Mikhail, dominant win, congratulations.
Thank you very much, thank you very much. Sounds very easy, it looks very easy, but finally, yeah, the guys pushing on the start. I need to really to be focused, not to make any mistake. That was most important because some areas was still slippery before on the race before, but very nice, very happy.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So superb performance from Mikhail Broniszewski. Yeah, there had been some oil laid down, I think, from a previous national championship here at Brands Hatch. They'd said it had all been cleared up, but obviously a little bit out there for Mikhail Broniszewski to comment on. Second place for Patrick van Klabbeke. A really strong performance from the 488 AF Corsa. And as I say, his first podium of the season, and that is going to put him in good stead for the race later on. Here's a look at the results after 17 laps of racing. Mikhail Broniszewski, the man who takes the victory, 20 seconds clear of Patrick van Klabbeke in the end. He said it looked easy, and I think it a little bit was. Karim Oj finishing in third place in the BMW Boots and Gignon. Van Dierendonck finishing in fourth. He'll be frustrated. He should have been second, I think he will think. Jan Brunstedt in fifth place. Anthony Pons, great drive from him. Started from the pit lane, ended up finishing in eighth position. Stephen Earle completing the top 10. Jan Brunstedt in there, our Iron Cup winner. Second in the Iron Cup for Steve Earle. Jean-Paul Buffin completing the top 12. And then further down, you see the guys that ran into trouble. Cordoni will start 16th on the grid later on. Martin Lanting will start 19th. Unfortunately, Jean-Michel Bart had to retire from the race. So Jan Brunstedt winning the Iron Cup. Second in the Iron Cup went the way of Steve Earle. and third going the way of Leon Price. Here's a look back at the highlights then, and Van Derendonk, it all went wrong for him really at the start as he got shuffled down at the first corner, ended up down in fourth position from second on the grid. That allowed Mikhail Broniszewski to sprint clear really and make his way up the order. Van Derendonk was pushing. A look up the inside, wasn't quite close enough to get through. Then Jean-Michel Bart took a trip to the gravel. That didn't do too much to the damage to the car, we don't think. Van Derendonk then got up the inside of Van Klabbeke. Van Klabbeke was too late on the brakes, ran a little bit wide out of Druids. He got sideways. Van Derendonk got third. Van Derendonk was now starting to push to try and get past Martin Lanting in second position, whilst Cordoni and Brunstedt had some great squabbles. First time at Druids, Cordoni managed to get through, only to be done again by Brunstedt, and then this time they made contact. A little bit of bodywork damage on the rear of Jan Brunstedt's car. Van Derendonk then made a mistake at Graham Hill Bend, which meant he was back down into fourth place. Cordoni still chasing the damaged Brunstedt for sixth position, and he ran wide. Van Derendonk really was on a charge as he tried to make his way up the order, but then Martin Lanting collided with Pierre Feligioni, and that sent Lanting into the gravel trap as he was trying to lap him. Also into the gravel trap went Van Derendonk. That cost him a chance of a podium as Karim OJ gratefully took the position, and then Cordoni managed to get past Brunstedt eventually, coming through clearways. A great move from him, but no one could stop Mikhail Broniszewski. A superb performance, and he takes victory in the opening qualifying race here. On the final lap, Mario Cordoni understeered into the gravel trap at clearways. He was understandably gutted about that. But Mikhail Broniszewski took the victory and takes pole position for the main race later on today. So the drivers making their way towards the podium now. And it'll be the top three that will make their way out overall, which was Broniszewski, Van Klabbeke and OJ in the Iron Cup. Brunstedt the winner, Steve Earle second, Leon Price in third spot. So there they are, waiting around the back. Karim OJ getting some much needed water as he downs his bottle for the BMW Boots and Gignon team. And a third place for OJ. He wants to hear the cheers, and he gets some cheers. Second place goes the way of Patrick Van Klabbeke. Great performance from Van Klabbeke, only his second podium in the GT Sports Club. And on to the top step, Mikhail Broniszewski. He's got to hurry because he's doing a Blancpain race in a minute, so he can't savour the champagne for too long. But it's the top step for the Polish driver. So celebrations there on the podium as they all stand together on the top step. And Mike Groves, the Brands Hatch circuit manager, is the man to hand out the awards to the winning drivers. And there is the top step of the podium for Mikhail Broniszewski, who takes the win in the GT Sports Club race here at Brands Hatch. And the champagne being handed out as well. And they decide not to spray the champagne because they've got another race coming up later And I think that's absolutely sensible. After the main race, that's when you deserve to spray the champagne anyway, because that's when the main points are up for grabs. Now we move on to our Iron Cup classifications. Jan Brunstedt there, about to take to the podium. We've got a lot of trophies to be won today, haven't we? All the action coming up here today. 2 races for the Blancpain GT Sports Club, 2 races for the Blancpain GT Series as well. And Marion there is hogging all the champagne by the looks of things. The championship coordinator, as they get ready for the new flags for the new drivers. That's Joe East who's doing that work there on the right-hand side. And now out onto the third step of the podium, Leon Price for Dragon Racing, the South African. This is the Iron Cup class for drivers over the age of 60. Steve Earle up into 2nd position. He's over the moon with that one, the American driver. But it's the top step and the win in the Iron Cup class for Jan Brunstedt. Formula 3 racer in Sweden in the 1970s. And as a result, it's the Swedish national anthem for the winner. So Jan Brunstedt taking the victory in the Iron Cup class. A Sweden American and a South African out there on the podium. 2nd place, Steve Earle, having a little bit of a laugh and a joke, and he is over the moon with that. And the race winner, Jan Brunstedt, receives his trophy, holds it aloft on the Brands Hatch podium. What a good day for him. I imagine these guys will be a little bit reluctant to spray the champagne as well. No, he's going for it. Jan Brunstedt, the winner at Brands Hatch in the Iron Cup class. And Leon Price giving it a spray as well. Steve Earle as well, soaking the team. But don't have too much, Jan. You got another race coming up later on. Steve Earle drops it down to his AF Corsa squad. So that concludes the qualifying race for the Blancpain GT Sports Club. A really impressive performance. Thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you join us for race 2 later on. We're going to be back in about 7 minutes' time for the first race of the Blancpain GT Series.